Hey, we're on the Mount of Olives. Lots of prophecy about the Mount of Olives. Lots of events happened on the Mount of Olives. In the book of Zechariah, chapter 14, verse 4, Ezekiel 47, Joel chapter 3, it talks about how Jesus will touch down one day. Our Messiah will come back again. He'll touch down. The Mount of Olives will split. Water will come from the Temple Mount through here. The Kidron valleys down below go down to the Dead Sea. It will bring life to everything it touches. Trees will be on there. We look forward to that day, obviously. Some other things that happened. Jesus would often go into the temple. There's the Temple Mount. You can see the Dome of the Rock there where the temple used to be. And he'd come down and he'd walk up here to go to Bethany, just on the other side of the mountain here, Bethlehem and different places. But Bethany, where he often stayed. The Garden of Gethsemane. Come over here and take a look. Down there's the Garden of Gethsemane. He'd often come down to pray. Lots of significant stuff happened right here. And he gave the Olivet Discourse, Matthew chapter 24. In it, he basically says, look, here's the signs of the times. One day that temple will fall down. Not a stone will be left unturned. And guess what's going to happen? That's going to happen. And everyone's like, what? Really? When is this going to happen? Because it seems impossible. Well, it happened in AD 70 when the Romans sacked Jerusalem. And the gold melted in the temple, goes between the blocks and the bricks, these huge massive stones. They're pulling them apart, trying to get at the gold. It happened just as Jesus prophesied 40 years later. Amazing. He also told them what the signs of the end of the times will be. And he'd say, look, there's going to be wars, rumors of wars, famines. There's going to be false messiahs, all those things we've had. There's going to be earthquakes. It's amazing at how earthquakes over 6.0 have occurred since they started keeping records in the 50s, 9 of them in the 50s, and it just kept multiplying to well over 100 last decade. It's amazing at how much more famine there is, how many more wars, all those different things. And he says those are just signs. And he talks about the fig tree, and when the fig tree blossoms, fig is always Hosea, Joel, all speak of national Israel being the fig tree. Speaking of 1948, when Israel became a nation again, who ever heard of such a thing? Israel becoming a nation. They were all dispersed after 70 AD. You don't see the Amalekites and the Perizzites and the Hittites, but Israel became a nation. Amazingly enough, as God pulled his people from the four corners. And it says, not a generation will pass. The generation who saw those things happen, not a generation will pass before the end comes. I don't know when it's going to come. He doesn't tell us. He says no man knows the time or the hour. He just tells us be ready. Be ready. And then he finishes with some parables. And he talks about the parable of the talents. And he talks about be caught serving people. Be faithful. And he tells the parable of the virgins and says that they should be ready. And that's the idea. We're not supposed to be stuck in prophecy. We're supposed to be in prophecy for one reason only, just to recognize the sign of the times, to be ready. Anyway, that's all happened here.